Derick along with Matt Rose here at DRF headquarters to talk about the Breeders' Crown Eliminations. They're at Mohegan Sun, the Downs at Mohegan Sun Pocono on October 19th and October 20th, Friday and Saturday. We're showing all the races live on DRF Harness Live. And we're going to talk about two of the elims, one from Friday, one from Saturday. There's 10 eliminations on Friday, 14 eliminations on Saturday, so plenty of opportunity to get the wagering action in with only 15% takeout across the board.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice thing that they did. The Breeders' Crown and Mohegan Sun Pocono, 15% takeout. Everybody's clamoring for lower takeout. Well, here you go. No excuse not to send it in.
So you better head to the windows and make some wagers on these particular spot plays. We're going to take a look at race number 12. It's the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old colt pace elimination. It's one of 3 eliminations on the card for this particular division, so the top 3 of this group of 7 are going to make it into the final, and it's a pretty good group when you look at it from top to bottom.
So this is your hand-picked race for Friday of all the eliminations we're going to talk about, and yeah, pretty solid 2-year-old colts in this race. You have Stag Party, who for Casey Coleman, who won the Metro. Working on a mystery, undefeated. Blood Money, solid season for that Tactor guy and that Jingra guy. Captain Trevor, fired home. Lieutenant hasn't won, but consistently in the money. So, yeah, it's a pretty good race from top to bottom.
Money line favorite in this field is Working on a Mystery, and we're going to take a look at his replay first from the group. And he's here on the lead at 1-9. The fans like him, and he takes care of business here.
Yeah, he works his way to the front on the mile track. Decent half. I was able to rate a pretty good 3/4. Pretty well rated 3/4, I should say. See Tim Tetrick go to just a little bit of work to keep him busy, and you could say from mid stretch on, he's completely wrapped up, which makes him 5 for 5 on the season. For the Brian Brown barn, comes up with top horses year in and year out, and you can see he's completely blows his field away in 149-3. Maybe a little work to do now in this elimination, starting from post 7, but. He's certainly a player without a doubt here.
As good as he was in that elimination, I didn't think he was great, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that I was reading an article that hasn't been published yet. Brian Brown saying that they weren't super happy with the effort from Working on a Mystery, and there was still work to do, and that made me feel better, because if that was the bad effort, who knows what's to come.
Right.
5 for 5, obviously he's got speed, he should be put in play. We also saw Lions Johnny JNR in that race, finished 4th, was all out, just couldn't close into him. Let's take a look at another one of the contenders. That's 9-2 on the morning line favorite and 7-2 on the morning line. These two, Captain Trevor and Blood Money, come out of this replay, and you're going to see Blood Money's going to take to the inside and take the lead, but he's got a little surprise coming late from the captain.
Yeah, Jingra does a good job, 2 moving, yielding, finding room up the rail. He looks like a winner here, looks good. And you see Captain Trevor just kick into gear and explode right by off of, you could say he was too far back, didn't matter. He won going away. I think the final margin was 1.25 length, 1.5. But yeah, I mean, he was striding with every stride. And obviously it makes him a player in this race, and probably tracked a decent amount of attention. 9-2 is a pretty enticing morning line, considering what you saw coming out of that race. But this race can go in a lot of ways, so how do you see it tactically? I
didn't bring a replay to the table, but I watched Stag Party's effort last time, and listen, he won the Metro, and certainly that deserves a lot of pluses, but that Ontario Star Stakes final effort, I mean, he should have won that race. I mean, you can't come home in 28-1 if they're a 3/4 in 124. I mean, that was a race he probably should have won. Mm-hmm. Where I went was Working on a Mystery. He's 5 for 5 on the year. I do see him making the top in this spot, despite the fact that there's some speed in here. I think they'll respect him, and I think he's going to win this race. I mean, that's the way I see it.
You know what? Fortunately or unfortunately, the way you look at it, I'm on board with you also Working on a Mystery on top. Maybe he's not ridiculously overbet just because of that 7 post. You got to figure Captain Trevor will take money. Blood Money takes some money just because he figures before he plays for top connections. Stag Party, just because he comes off one slightly subpar effort. It's not like he stopped. It was awful. He just lost a race that he should have won. Casey Coleman, year in and year out, no matter how big or how small her barn is, always comes up with a top horse. And here's another one, 9 starts, over 500 grand, Metro winner. And like I said, I don't know if I have to look into that slightly subpar effort in his last start. It was only six days ago coming into this race. I'm definitely going to use him on my tickets, but yeah, working on a mystery 5 for 5. If he methodically makes his way to the front and can rate the middle half, I think he's good to go.
What's interesting for me here is if Captain Trevor would have drawn the 5 and stayed part of the 2, I might have taken Captain Trevor, but I'm just really worried that he's going to end up first over in this spot with Blood Money leaving, working on the mystery leaving, and then him coming first over. And I don't see him winning.
Yeah, from that spot, it's either a brush to the front, which I don't see, or you're right, he might get away 4th or 5th, and if he doesn't flush out cover, he'll have to grind. And you see big third quarter sometimes at Pocono, and maybe you don't want to be grinding in that spot. But the talent's there for top connections, so price should be okay. I'll include him underneath.
We'll move on to Saturday, where they have 14 eliminations, 14 races, 14 elims. They're all for the Breeders' Crown, and we're going to look at race number 7. It's for the 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers. This is another one where it's this is the first of 3 divisions. I tried to pick the ones with 3 because only the top 3 are making the final, so we're all out here to try and get in there, and there's no like sitting at the back and then coming on late
to sit and save and finish 5th and squeak into the final. So I get it.
You're bringing your all effort here, and you got 5-2 morning line favorite of Dorsador Hanover, second choice Think Big Dream Big. Those look like the top 2 on paper.
Yeah, I agree. Dorsador Hanover hasn't gotten as much maybe praise or acclaim as he deserves this year. Meanwhile, 8 for 16 on the season, $904,000 banked. You can't fault the season that he has. And from this spot, he will be my top choice here. I guess I'm giving it away a little bit early, but he will be my top choice here. He's another horse he's done nothing wrong. If you look at all of his charted lines recently, his only effort where he was off the board was in the Milstein in Northfield, where he had an impossible trip over that half-mile track. Every other race, he's right there. Absolutely no reason to fault this horse. From this spot, tactically, I think it should be good to go. And he'll be my top choice. I don't want to chalk it up, but it's not like he's going to be a huge, heavy chalk. But that's the direction I'm leaning. I'm
going to give away my top choice right now when we look at this replay.
And I know what you're going to say, too.
We're going to look at this replay of Springsteen, who's basically in the parking lot here. You see him, he's all the way in the back and last on the outside, going 27 wide here from the last. And granted, these aren't class foes. These winners of 4 to 6, but he's going to disappear from the screen and then miraculously appear late in the stretch with, loaded with pace. And you know what? This shows me a horse that's finally coming back into form after plenty of races where he was just awful. He's going to be on a track that he loves. He already won a final here. He won the Hemp here. For a trainer that does really well at this track, to me, all signs point to Springsteen being live at a price, and you're laughing at me like I'm
not laughing.
12 heads.
First of all, I don't see a price. When you say a price, I'm thinking like 10
Dream Big and Dorsador Hanover are going to both be under 2-1, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So you're going to get 4-1, 7-2.
All I know is I've seen enough of Springsteen to know that he's just a complete enigma. I refer to him as a Jekyll and Hyde horse. How many times? He's only a 3-year-old. He's only made 20 lifetime starts, and I feel like we've been through the same routine a dozen times. Oh, well, he bounced back, and he looked great, and he's good to go, and he's on top form, and blah, blah, and he throws in one of these clunkers.
I'm going to circle for you on the page where it says where his lifetime mark is, 148.3 in the track. At Pocono Downs.
Again, this is the elimination, though, not the final. Maybe we see a 148.3 in the final, assuming he makes the final top 3. Let me see back-to-back good, solid, strong efforts where his head is in the game, and then I'll jump on board.
So basically what you're saying is when he wins the elimination for me and pays $980, the next week you're going to come back and play him in the final where he's 8-5 and lose?
Knowing my luck, probably, which makes me a great handicapper, horrible better, because I'll probably follow up 1 week too late or whatever. But like I said, I've just seen too much of this horse to throw in these clunkers. We've seen his races at Yonkers, the Messenger, where he went sideways in the final turn. New York Sire Stakes final, where reportedly they put a new bit in his mouth or something. I guess he didn't like it, spit it out, and made a right turn instead of a left turn into the first turn. Sure, he qualified back fine. Simon Allard obviously drives the horse great. You saw him fly home on his favorite track, but where's he going to be in this race? Is he going to be third over again? I'm sure he's not going to be stacked 10 wide that far back, but where's he going to be when you figure that Dorsador Hanover's forwardly placed Think Big, Dream Big, Hitman Hill with Brian Sears from the outside? I doubt he's going to want to try to get away last in this spot. I don't know.
So you don't believe is what you're saying?
I don't. I'm not a believer yet.
Okay, well,
I'm going to take a more
be a believer.
conventional approach in this race.
It's okay. You can chalk it up. It's okay. We don't
It's
mind.
not that chalky, but yes, I will chalk it up, so to speak.
Race number 7. I'm going to go Springsteen. You said you're going Think Big, Dream Big.
No, I said
Dorsa Hanover. Dorsa Hanover. I just knew it was one of the chalky
Of
horses.
course, yeah,
you know.
of course.
And
then when Springsteen opens up 2-5, you're going to say, geez, I can't play this horse now. And you'll go somewhere else.
Drift up,
he'll
so
drift
I'm gonna wait it out. But
Okay.
14 races on Saturday, 10 races on Friday, all of it live on DRF Harness Live. You can watch all the action. 15% takeout on the card at Pocono on both nights, so you want to get in. No matter what wager you play, it's going to be less than you would normally get as far as takeout. So it's great value. Don't miss any of the action. Good luck.